Hello and welcome to my dungeon. Boy, do I have a story for you today. I've been holding on to this one for quite some time because I needed the right time. And this did happen quite some time ago, so you're gonna have to bear with me. My memory's really bad, but I do remember most of it. One night, I'm doing as I do, and I'm playing a wonderful fun game of Overwatch 2. I'm playing Overwatch 2, and all of a sudden, dun dun dun, I got no internet. No internet, no nothing. I'm refreshing my phone. I'm like, oh no, what happened? And I was like, well, maybe it'll come back in like 5 minutes. Sometimes it does that. Sometimes it just kind of blip, and then it comes back. It didn't come back. Hours went by, and it didn't come back, and I felt like I was going insane because just out of habit, I would get on my computer. I would sit down at my computer, be like, oh yeah, I got, nope, no internet. And so I'd get up, I'd go to the kitchen, I'd grab a drink, and I'd go sit down at my computer, and I'm like, oh yeah, it was 1 a.m, and I still did not have internet. And I was like, what is going on? So, like any normal person, I would be like, okay, just gotta turn it off, turn it back on again, right? That's what they say to do. And so I did. I turned it off, unplugged everything, and then left it, and then I plugged it all back in. No internet. I don't usually have internet problems. What is going on? So I was like, maybe I plugged them in wrong. So I mixed up all the cords and plugged them back in. Nothing. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna Google what to do. So I Googled what to do, and it said to like hard reset it. So I did that, and it didn't come back. And I was like, maybe I redid the chords the wrong way. So I did, more chords, because I have a lot of chords. The bed was here, and I had my little reading spot, So it's like 1:30, I can't figure it out. It's not coming back. I'm looking at Spectrum outages and blah, 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 and it's saying I'm not in an outage. I didn't get a text. Normally if there's an outage, I get a text. Even if there's not an outage, I'll get a text saying there's an outage, and I'm like, I'm streaming right now, but okay. So I set up a time with a technician to come, and luckily the earliest they could come was like 8 a.m, or super early the next day. And I was like, this is amazing. This is fantastic. Cool. I'm gonna have my internet fixed. I'll wake up and he'll be here, and then I'll go to the gym, and then I come home, and then I stream, and then everything is fine, right? That's not what happened. What was about to happen, what I didn't know, was about to be one of the worst days of my life. And the best part, I don't know if y'all know the best part of this. We'll get it. Story time. So, this is a story of how not to talk to women, or people in general. It's a weird thing to do, but most of the time I think this happens to women. Early in the morning. And you know how, like, whenever there's an appointment, they always give themselves a leeway. They're like, yeah, we'll come at 8 or 8:30. It's between 8 to 9, so we could get there at 8:59 and we'll still be on time. And sometimes they come later than that, and you're like, huh? I managed to get lucky, and I get a call at like 8:05, and it's like, hey, this is a Spectrum. I was like, oh, thank God. I think I'm in my gym clothes. I'm not entirely sure. I had to wake up early, and I probably was in my gym clothes. Like I said, the memory's probably not gonna be the best, but what I did wear to the gym that day, I wore, my normal gym leggings and a Kirby t-shirt. This is important. Hi, my name is Kate. I like a lot of things. I like Star Wars, I like video games, I like the color pink, I like really cute cottagecore stuff. I also like anime and manga and Kirby and stuffed animals and Overwatch and Baldur's Gate 3, and I like music, and I like BTS, and I like movies like Star Wars. I like a lot of things. I like a lot of things that are considered nerdy or geeky. I don't know what the difference is between nerd and geek. I've been called both my whole life, but doesn't matter. I am the way that I am. And now that I'm an adult and I have adult money, I'm gonna spend it on things that I want, like this giant Real Akuma, or like a giant Squishmallow, or like a Star Wars plush, or like a Star Wars poster, or a Star Wars rug. Like, I'm gonna get things that I want, because the 13-year-old me who was like, I'm never gonna meet Hayden Christensen, I'm fulfilling this for her, because she's still in me, I'm not gonna go on a rant about that. But what I will go on a rant about is what happened that day. I haven't really shown anything about my apartment. What you've seen on this YouTube channel is my dungeon, because that's the bit. My stream, you can kind of see behind me, I have a ton of Star Wars stuff, I have a ton of video game stuff, I have a ton of manga, I have a ton of anime, I have a ton of plushies, I have a lot of game stuff. Like, I just have a plethora of everything. And some people come into my stream and they're like, I love your background. Other people come into my stream and they're like, your room is too crowded, there's too much going on. Both are valid, honestly. Like, it is what it is. I personally love it. I love having stuff. The thing is, you walk into my apartment and the first thing you see is this table of stuff. It has stuff on it. It has 2 Star Wars helmets, but it also has my dead dad shrine. Don't worry about it. And it has a bunch of old books that I got from my dead dad stuff. Anyway, dead dad shrine. And then, so if you look this way, you'll find my couch And then there's a Star Wars carpet, which you can't see really when you walk in, but you know, well, it's fine, it's fine. Millennium Falcon. And then you look on the wall and oh wow, there's a massive poster of the Millennium Falcon. That's so cool. And then you walk in and then you see gamer chair. I have the gamer set up, I have the streamer set up because I have the mic and then I have the light and then I have the, you know, and you walk a little bit more and then you see what you see on my stream. And it's a lot, but it's a lot of nerdy stuff. And you see, you know, you can see the first thing you can see is Star Wars Lego. You can see the Darth Vader helmet. You can see there's all kinds of stuff, right? And it's everywhere. So when you first walk into my house, you're like, wow, this girl does not leave the house. This girl's probably a loser and she's probably gonna talk my ear off about how Anakin Skywalker actually was not that bad. Anyway, but the thing is, when you come into my bedroom, it's pink and flowers, and there's all kinds of cutesy stuff, and flowers, and greenery, and a pink rug, and like I have a lot of pink stuff, because like I said, I like pink, my wall's pink. You can't see you can kind of see the wall, but like there's also a thing where it says, bloom where you're planted, because my mom would say that stuff to me all the time when I was a kid, and it ingrained into my head, and I hate that saying, but it reminds me of my mom, so I put it on the wall. I just have a lot of pink stuff because I like being a pink princess. I don't know. This is also the reason why I'm wearing my Mandalorian shirt. Look at. This is one of the coolest shirts. Can you see? It is one of my favorite shirts. I wear it probably a little too often because I think it is so cool. Because I like merch and clothes that aren't very obvious. I say as the back is... Okay, anyway. Pay attention. Spectrum guy walks in and I'm like, hello, just right this way. The thing is, when you open the door, like I said, dead dad shrine, but directly in front of you, I mean directly in front of you, is 2 monitors, a gaming chair, a standing desk, a computer, the ring light, and the big camera, you know, like, so the first thing you see is that. Most people in my life have seen that and gone, oh, you like playing video games? The first thing he said to me was, oh, you're a streamer? And immediately I was like, because 2 things out of this, bestie, 2 things out of this. He has my name, so he can easily Google me, and he knows where I live, because he's here to fix my internet, which, stuff like that to me, always a little spooky. And also 3, I'm home alone in my house with this man, who now knows I stream. But, you know, I was kind of thinking, like, maybe it won't be that big of a deal. Maybe like, oh, cool, I've gone to fix people's internets before and they stream. However, it got worse. So I'm like, oh yeah, like, yeah, so yeah, I dabble. I dabble. And he's like, oh, nice, what are you streaming? I think it's like, oh, right now I'm streaming Baldur's Gate 3. And he goes, oh, do you like it? And I was like, yeah, I love it. And he's like, oh yeah, my friends were telling me to play it, but I don't really like turn-based games. I was like, yeah, I never thought I would like it either, but like, I looked at it and it really seemed like it would interest me, and I started playing it, and man, I love it. Like, my favorite game is Skyrim, and Skyrim is here, Baldur's Gate is here. Like, they are very, very close. And I was like, I never thought a game would... I started babbling about, you know, games. It was like a nice chat, and I was like, yeah, we're talking about video games. He's like, oh, have you ever played... He started saying games that I don't play. Like what's the game? Soulsborne? Something? Dragonborn? And he started saying something, and I was like, oh, no. He's like, oh, you played Doom? And I was like, no. He's like, oh, you play League? I'm like, no. I play Stardew Valley. Same thing, right? That's kind of the same thing, right? So then he sits down and he says like, oh, so your internet, and I'm like, yeah. So I basically explained, I was like, yeah, I was, you know, playing a game last night, I was playing Overwatch, and then the internet just cut out. Normally I don't have these issues, and I tried, you know, turning it off, turning it back on, I replugged it, and blah, 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 blah. He's like, oh, so you did try turning it off and on again? I was like, yes, I did do that, and then I unplugged everything, and then it didn't come back on, so I thought maybe I plugged them in wrong, so I switched them up, and I just kept doing that over and over and over, it never came back on. So I think something's wrong with it, but I'm not sure. And he looks at it and goes, oh, yeah, you know, I know what you did wrong. And I was like, what did I do? He's like, yeah, you plugged all the cords in wrong. Silly me. I was like, I was so afraid that was going to be the case, because like I tried so many different patterns on the cords. Like I tried, you know, so many, and it just never came back on. So yeah, that makes sense. But I'm so sorry you came all this way out here just to plug it back in. He's like, no, honestly, like, you know, I've had so many other situations where it's been like this, and like I'm just glad that, like, you know, this has been like a nice situation. I was like, yeah, no, of course. And I'm like, sorry about the cat hair, because cat hair gets everywhere, man. Like, I tried to clean it gets in the cords anyway. So then we're like kind of chatting, and he's like, you know, he unplugged, plugged everything back in, and he's sitting there because he had to like test it to make sure it was working. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember which came first. I think he asked he brought up Star Wars, and I was like, oh, I love Star Wars, and we somehow started talking about Star Wars, and then he asked like if I watched Ahsoka, and I was like, oh, I haven't finished it, and then he asked if I like he asked if I watched Obi-Wan. This is where it gets kind of dicey, okay, because he asked if I watched a Star Wars show, and I was like, yeah. This is the moment where I was like, oh boy, because I already felt like I failed this guy. He was asking me 24 questions about the games, right, but I was kind of saying like, oh, I play Skyrim, oh, I play Overwatch 2, oh, you play Call of Duty? I used to, but not really anymore. I've played Valorant a little bit. Oh, but do you play, what's the other one? Where like you gamble for gun skins. Starts with a C. I got nothing. So he's already listed off a bunch of games that I don't play, and I'm like, I'm sorry, man. So then somehow Star Wars gets brought up, and then something happened, and then he goes, so like, do you actually like Star Wars, or do you just pretend? I wish I was kidding. I wish I was kidding. I swear to God, I swear on my life, I swear on my cat's life, that man said that to me, looked me in the eyes and said that to me. And I was so aghast. I was like, I mean, because the thing is, one thing you don't want to mess with is Star Wars fans. Ask Hayden Christensen. He was Anakin Skywalker, and they drove him into the ground. The thing is, right, I've been in situations before where people are like, do you actually like Star Wars? And I'm like, yes, I actually like Star Wars. Like, the problem is too, though, right? I don't want to say dumb. My problem is when I've watched Star Wars, in my head, I'm like, Star Wars 1. Yes. Star Wars 4. Yes. Those are the names of the Star. If you ask me, oh, which one is A New Hope? Most of the time I'm gonna be like, I have no idea. I think it's the fourth one. The problem is, right, from my childhood, I always called the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, I've never, like, attached it with the name. He asked me, so do you actually like Star Wars, or, like, do you just, like, pretend? Like, I gave him, like, a look. I just kind of was like, and he goes, pretend? I know you think I'm lying to, I swear, I pinky promise, I wish I was making this up. Because one, I felt so disrespected, and two, are you serious? So I go, no, I like Star Wars, and I was like, I'm not like a crazy fan. Like, if you ask like trivia questions, like, oh, what was the cup that so-and-so used on for so-and-so to give them the so-and-so drink? I wouldn't know. And he's like, huh, I just felt so weird. So then at that moment, I was like, this is an unsafe environment. I feel weird now. Anyway, and then right after that, he goes, oh, not only did I fail the game test, I now failed apparently the Star Wars test, and I failed the internet test, because he's like, you plugged all these cords in wrong. Turns out his little thingy he had said that, oh, my things were broken. My router and modem were borked. It didn't matter that I plugged them in wrong, because at some point I did plug them in right and no internet. And so he goes, oh, what is it? Teehee, I'm just a silly girl who doesn't know anything. I don't even know how to plug my internet in right. Sorry, I'm still a little salty. It's been a few months. I'm still salty. So he's looking at it, he goes, yeah, so I don't know what the problem is, but maybe, you know, when you plug the cords in wrong, it like made the system kind of freak out on, you know, the internet, like this, I need to change this out and blah, 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 blah. And he goes, you know, if you stream in this amount of settings, like you can get like a higher resolution. If you stream in this, like right now you're having this, and if you get this cord, and he just started telling me all of these super tech words that I don't know, and I was like, yep, there's the fourth one. There's the fourth strike right there, is that I don't know tech words. I don't know. If you ask me, Kate, what are your computer specs? It's white. It's got rainbow lights on the inside. He just starts saying, okay, so you gotta do this and this, and then you can start streaming at a higher bit rate, but which I understand bit rate, and I was like, oh, okay. He's like, so why is your internet like here? Why isn't it by your computer? Well, when I first moved in here, there was no internet port. Like they renovated it, so they covered over it. And he goes, what do you mean there was no internet port? And I was like, they had to drill a hole outside in my bedroom, so there's a hole that leads outside to the bedroom, and he had to go outside, and he had to get a ladder, and he had to go, and I had to ask my landlord if it was okay for him to do that. My landlord's like, yeah, of course. And this guy was like, oh, well, why isn't it closer to you? Do you want it closer to your computer? And I was like, no, this is fine, because I have an Ethernet cord that goes through the hallway down to my computer. It's honestly 6 feet away, and the Ethernet cord is not that big of a deal. I just step over it when I go from the bedroom to the hallway. It's not that big of a deal. I don't even think about it. Not once have I ever tripped on it in the 3 years of me living here. He's chatting more, and okay, well, you know, if you ever have any more issues, you know, just hit me up. Like, I have, you know, the location of this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, thank you so much. And he's like, yeah, so your internet should be coming back on in here about like 10 minutes, but you may have to, you know, reset your user and blah, 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 because you hard reset it, so it may not work. You may have to redo it all. And I was like, okay, thank you so much, and then he left. You know what's crazy is I feel like more happened and I just don't remember it. Because the thing is, you may be like, okay, don't you take a daily diary? Yes, I do. The only problem is, he left, I drank my pre-workout, and I started going to the gym. And then I promptly, on my way to the gym, promptly, immediately, and quickly got hit head on by the LAPD. Yes, that happened in the same day. That happened in the same day. So the thing is, in my diary, I just put I had a horrible day. I put internet guy came, got hit head on by the LAPD, my car's totaled, I'm at urgent care. That was my daily diary. And you know what? I don't blame Past Kate because that sucked. That absolutely sucked. I also too, that guy probably Googled me after he left. He probably saw my Twitch. He probably saw my YouTube. Maybe not dungeon, but the scary bit is like, if I made this video when it happened, which I couldn't because I got hit by the LAPD, so I was like recovering for 2 weeks, I'm still kind of scared to make this video now, because what if he still has my address, you know? But the thing is, we're moving soon, right? We're moving soon, so it should be fine, right? It was just like a weird situation. Like, why would you say that to somebody? Do you actually like Star Wars, or are you like, pretending? Like, sir, have you not seen my house? That's my story. Have you ever had an experience where someone doubted your Star Wars love? That's the thing. Probably a lot of you are dudes. Probably haven't. I've never had a guy question whether it's. There was one time too. I had someone in my life who I was wearing a shirt by Omocat. It wasn't a shirt. It's like a crew neck. Anyway, it said Slayer across it. It had a girl with a guitar, and it looked really cool. And to me, in my head, when I got it, I thought, oh, Slayer. Like, she's, you know, she's slaying people. She's like, you know, Dragon Slayer. She's, you know, unaliving. She's, you know, she's going around playing some sick tunes and, like, you know, taking them out. So anyway, I go over to hang out with a friend, and he looks at me and goes, name 3 songs. And I go, what? Turns out there's a band called Slayer. This was news to me. There's a band called Slayer, and this guy thought that I was wearing fake Slayer merch. And he did the thing. Yeah, I don't know if y'all are on Reddit. You probably are. But have you seen posts where like, oh, this guy, oh, name 3 songs, blah, 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 blah. And like, I don't know why people think that's a flex. That's not a flex. The thing is, I love BTS. BTS is a Korean boy band kind of thing. They're very, very, very talented. If I saw someone in public wearing a BTS shirt, I would be like, I love your shirt. That's it. I wouldn't walk up to them and be like, name 3 songs. Like, that's weird. That's weird. I told the person, I said, that's weird. This is just art. And they were like, okay. And so ever since then, I am terrified. I am terrified to wear any kind of band merch, even if I listen to them. I love Sabaton. I love Sabaton. They were my top band of my Spotify Wrapped. Anyways, I am petrified to wear a Sabaton shirt, because the thing is, I'm super forgetful. I couldn't even name I can't name a Star Wars movie. I can't tell you which one's which. How am I going to name any but they're going to say, oh, name a Sabaton song. And I'm going to be like even now, I can't think of them. I can think of the dun-dun-dun, 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 dun. Can't think of the name. That's my favorite one. Can't think of it. Brain go. That is me. Maybe it's ADHD, maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know. Anyways, thank you for watching. I have to go switch my laundry. I hope you have a fantastic day. Safe travels. Okay, bye.